How's it going, guys? Cameron here, and today I'm going to show you my top 3 dynamic and static stretches that I perform pretty much on a daily basis so I can keep myself mobile and flexible. Static stretches are those that consist of holding a muscle at its longest length for a period of time with the goal of increasing the length of a muscle, or in other words, increasing the flexibility of a muscle. Dynamic stretching, on the other hand, involves moving through the joint's range of motion in order to decrease the muscle and joint temperature. Dynamic stretches are often only a few seconds long, just long enough so we can feel mobile and be prepared for our workout, sport game, or even just to add some extra movement throughout our day. I will in the future do a more in-depth video explaining differences between dynamic and static stretches, but for now, let's head straight to the exercises. So starting off with the dynamic stretches, the first one is a pelvic thrust. Standing hip width apart, toes pointing forward, I start by getting into a hip hinge position by pushing the hips back with a soft bend in the knees. My hands are placed just below the hips and lowering my back to a position where I can feel tension in my hamstrings, while keeping a straight line in my back. Then I thrust the hips forward so they're slightly further beyond neutral. Move my hands and place them on my glutes, and pulling my shoulders back to open up the chest and keeping my neck neutral. You can add this to your morning routine, warm up, or even just taking a quick 2-minute break from the computer screen. I learned this exercise from my mentor and I absolutely love it. I do it all the time, at least a few times a day. If you try this exercise, trust me, you'll feel really good after it. My next favorite dynamic stretch is a bridge reach over. Lie down on your back with the soles of your feet on the ground. The initial stage is like a glute bridge, except as you engage your glutes, I want you to get one arm and reach over as far as you can to the other side of you, as you can see here. The goal here is to stretch the lats and get rotation in the thoracic spine. So rotate your torso to get a great stretch here. With the glute activation, you're also going to get a hip flexor stretch. This is a great exercise to do first thing in the morning or to include in your warm-up, especially when you're about to squat. And the final dynamic exercise I'm going to show you is going to be a really simple one. We're going to do some arm rotations to warm up that shoulder joint. This joint is the most mobile joint in the human body, but it's also one of the most injured areas. So we start with some small arm rotations, and as we keep doing these revolutions, start increasing the size of the circles. Once this is reached, reverse the direction and start to decrease the circle size back to where you started. Turn out your hands so your thumbs are facing outwards to avoid unnecessary shoulder internal rotation. This is a very simple exercise, yet effective to add to your warm-up routine that involves any sort of shoulder work. Now we move on to the static stretches, and the first one is the classic doorway chest stretch, and you've probably seen a few of these already on my Instagram stories. Many of us have tight chest muscles from prolonged sitting in a chair, or even if you're doing a lot of strength work for your pecs. Stand in the doorway and place your forearms against the door frame, so there's a 90-degree bend at the elbows. If you have a really tight chest, this may be enough for you to start feeling the stretch. But if you're looking to feel it more, lean into the door and immediately that should be enough for you to feel a great stretch. I would contract the abs here so you're not having an excessive arch in your lower back. I love this exercise and I do this at least once a day, either after a chest workout, before bed, or even just taking a break from the computer. And I do this for about a minute. Next up, we have the pigeon stretch. I absolutely love this exercise, especially recovering after a leg day. Our main focus here is to target the glutes and to get a hip flexor stretch with our opposing leg. So in getting into this position, start on all fours. Bring one leg back and at the same time, take the opposite leg and bring the knee out in front of you. Tuck your lower leg by your groin and you'll be able to feel it in that glute instantly. And by keeping this other leg out behind us, we can get this hip flexor stretch here as well. As a bonus progression, we can get some external rotation of the hip by changing the position of the foot. Turn the sole of your foot out to the side, like what is shown here, to achieve this external rotation of the hip. And as you can see, I have some tightness here, so this is something I definitely need to work on more. But if you are flexible enough to do this, add this in as well, for 45 to 60 seconds each side. And finally, this stretches for the lats and a bit of the triceps too. You can use any wall here or back in that doorway again. And what you want to do is bring your elbow up and anchor it there just above head height. Now cross the inside leg over the outside one and lean your body into the wall. Stretching the lats is really important because tight lats can reduce shoulder mobility. I used to have problems performing front squats with a barbell, but after focusing on stretching the lats more often, I can now keep my elbows up when I'm front squatting. So you're struggling with your front squat technique, try increasing your lat flexibility. Again, do this exercise for 45 to 60 seconds each side. If you have current shoulder issues performing this exercise against the wall, you can use a bench if you're in the gym, But if you're at home, you can use a coffee table, couch, chair, or even a bed. Come down to your knees and prop your elbows onto the bench. Then lean your head between your elbows and shift your hips backward slightly. This is a great alternative if you have any overhead shoulder issues. So there is my top 3 dynamic and static exercises with a guide to show you how to perform them. If you found this video helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe if you want to see more kind of content like this. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these exercises, as I'd love to hear what you guys think. If you want to see more tips or hear about me, you can follow my Instagram here at Cameron Fitness. And thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.